So welcome to another Minnesota air mission. I've really dragged my feet on making this video. It's been a few months since I posted anything because this experience really opened my eyes to the value of trustworthy maintenance in general aviation and ultimately led me to leave the flight school where I just finished my flight training for my private certificate where I had rented this plane. So actually, as of the time of the flight, I had just finished the private certificate. I had gone to Hawaii, which you might have seen that video. And I had specifically just completed my complex endorsement, and I'd done it in this plane, which is a Piper PA-28R 201. So that's a 200 horsepower engine, not high performance. But the R piece means it has a retractable gear, so it's a little more complicated. Also has a constant speed prop. And so I'd gone up maybe 4 or 5 times with CFI to get that endorsement. And this is my first time going up solo in it, in the Aero, which is what this version of the Cherokee is called. I was accompanied by my dad. He was in the right seat, and we had an emergency. Had to declare that emergency with air traffic control. So as a sneak preview, the emergency was that my throttle died, or got stuck, I guess. Usually when a throttle gets stuck, it gets stuck fully forward. That wasn't quite what I had. Rather, I could only drop to about 75% power. So I could push it all the way forward and get full throttle, and I'd pull it back and it would drop down to about 75% power. I think it was like 22 or 23 inches of manifold pressure. And then if I kept pulling back, nothing happened. So that was one of those kind of like partial failures that you hear about. So I wasn't in any immediate danger, but I had to figure out how to land the thing with this problem. So a particular issue was that I couldn't, at that power setting, get below 132, 133 knots, whereas the gear extend speed on the Aero is 129. So I couldn't get slow enough to be in that window, at least in level flight, as you will see. So that was part of the problem. And then even after I got the flaps down and extended the gear, I was still cruising at about 90. The approach speed for an Aero is about 70. So it was quite fast. So I needed a long runway to get down. And on top of that, without the ability to pull the engine throttle to idle, my only option was to pull the mixture to cut off fuel from the engine. So what that really means is once I pulled the mixture, I had committed to landing. I was definitely going to be hitting the ground because there was not really going to be any easy way to crank the engine again in the seconds between when I would need to do that and when the wheels would touch the ground. So not really any go-around options, which is the first time I've ever had to deal with that. So, and on top of that, once I got on the ground, I would have to be towed off the runway, which was also something I only realized after I got down and pulled out. So, also, as a sneak preview, I wasn't really thinking about the camera when this emergency was happening. So normally what I have to do is turn on and off the camera in order to save battery because it's it's hanging underneath the tail in this case of the plane. I can't get back there and plug it in, so I didn't do that. So I just had the camera running the whole flight, but that meant that the battery ran out like 5 minutes before I actually hit the ground and landed. Which is very annoying because honestly, this is probably the best landing I've ever made in any plane. Probably just the sheer amount of adrenaline that was coursing through my veins really helped me concentrate. But I have ATC audio from that part of the flight still, so you'll hear my authentic reactions at all stages of this. So what I'm going to do basically is watch this video for what is the first time I've watched it. I'm going to record live my reactions essentially as I go. This is as much and probably more so for me than it is for you. I really want to kind of learn from what I did. So I think I did some things that could have been better. I'm not totally sure. The whole thing is a little bit of a blur at this point. But I really want to record my own reactions for me so I can see what I did so that if something like this happens again, then I can better be prepared for it. That's the key, I think, to safety in general aviation is that you're always learning and learning to be safer in particular. So I'm going to be commenting out loud as I watch this, and otherwise we'll just watch it. Now, the beginning of the flight was very normal. There was a piece that you don't really see, which is the run-up. And when I did the run-up and did an idle check, it did idle, but it caught just a little bit. And I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I was like, oh, it's a cold day. This is the winter in Minnesota. So I just assumed it was a little bit of a quirk of the plane. I hadn't flown it too many times. Again, this is only the 5th or 6th time up. So I didn't keep trying it. In hindsight, that's what I should have done. I should have tried multiple idle checks.
016 back, running 28 right, line up and wait.
28 right, line up and wait, 8116 back.
So it's not a Foxtel, turn right off 2.
There we go.
Foxtrot, then contact ground.
Nothing too weird at this point.
Contact ground 170572.
Kinger 15 Victor, fly runway heading, running 28 left, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading 28 left, clear for takeoff, 15 Victor.
704 off, running 28 left, clear to land. Or correct, clear for the option.
28 left, cleared for the option, 744 Alpha.
Still idling just fine.
Kinger 15 Victor, fly assist heading 300.
Oh, he has to wait for him to clear for spacing.
Situationally aware.
Kinger 15 Victor, fly assist heading 300.
300, 15 Victor.
15 Victor, making it right 300 on contact us, departure, have a good flight.
That's fine.
Flight direct 300 and we'll switch departure. 15 Victor.
Air 16 Quebec, fly runway heading, running 28 right, clear for takeoff.
There we go.
Runway heading clear for takeoff 28 right, 16 Quebec. Alright, feet to the floor. Everything's up.
One step hours here. 4200 Bravo's holding short 28 right, ready for 14.
Series 4200 Bravo, flying cloud tower, running 28 right, line up wait.
28 right, line up
A little off center line. Coming back toward it though. There we go.
There we go.
Oh. Could have been cleaner.
Gear up.
Oh well.
Flap down. Maintain it nice.
It really flaps up. Lever down.
Nice 90 knot climb.
Series 00 Bravo traffic, arrow up when it's straight out, right turn to north approved, running 28 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 28 right, straight, right turn approved, 4200 Bravo.
A little bouncy. Not too bad.
Arrow 16 back, left turn to southeast approved.
Left turn approved, 16 Quebec.
Should probably tell you the mission. Our goal was to
704 Alpha back for another.
fly from
704 Alpha, Roger, turn left stall, running 28 left via Bravo cross, 96 on Bravo's frequency.
Turn left on called, Bravo to straight left, cross 36 on Bravo, remaining frequency 744 Alpha.
it's a fly from Flying Cloud to St. Paul downtown. And the goal here was something that I talked to my dad about a bunch of times, is we wanted to go to a restaurant on the field. A restaurant called Holman's Table.
Twin Star 16 box off, flying cloud tower, left turn approved, running 28 right, cleared, takeoff, and 22010.
It's actually one of the only on-field restaurants within quick distance from
I don't know why it's doing that.
the Twin Cities.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, that was the autopilot giving me some grief. I'd had it set to heading mode instead of to CDI mode. Common issue.
A little too high.
And it's also the first plane that I'd ever flown with autopilot. It's a lot of new. You can see in the bottom right there, I popped a little higher than my intended altitude. Then I got the autopilot dialed in for the altitude I was going for.
I'm going to pull power back just a little bit.
This is a 2-axis autopilot. Meaning it controls both roll and pitch.
Prop just a little bit.
The specific route here is basically taking a semicircle around the south side of the Twin Cities, more or less to go around MSP Airport. So the goal is, you can see on the map there, to get over where that lake is on the east side,
Much smoother ride.
and then head north.
Yeah, it's heavier.
Thrilling conversation.
We're also going quite a bit faster. The Cessna is normally about 105 knots, and we're hitting 145 right now.
Pretty, at least.
Flying Cloud Tower, 70744 Alpha, holding short to left at Charlie.
744 Alpha Flying Cloud Tower, make left traffic, running 28 left, clear takeoff.
No traffic, straight left, clear to takeoff, 744 Alpha.
Still listening to Flying Cloud Tower at this point. Didn't do flight following because this is a very short flight. Didn't think it necessary. I don't know what that would have changed, though. Probably would have needed to declare with them state intentions that I would be going back to the airport. Didn't tell Tower after I got there.
We're 9 miles from Air Lake. Estimated our fuel.
Tower 70 November, horn short of
Winds aren't right.
ready for takeoff to northwest.
Arch 4370 November, Flying Cloud Tower, right turn approved, running clear right, clear takeoff.
Clear takeoff, 28 right turn approved, 70 November.
Yeah, ground speed was quick. So I'm about to fly over Air Lake. I think that's Kilo Lima Victor November, I think. At that point,
Flying Cloud Tower, Skyhawk 5242 Delta, 10 miles to the west with Whiskey and bound for landing.
heading back northeast.
Terminal 44 Alpha, start at left crossing.
Yeah, we're in the left crossing.
This is 5242 Delta, Flying Cloud Tower, enter left down, running to the left.
Alright, we're going to start
Left
listening
down, right straight,
to
left.
St. Paul.
Staying ahead of the airplane at least. Thinking about the radio calls I need. That's good.
Also going to go ahead and key up. Our next waypoint.
Frozen lake underneath. This was early winter though, so not everything was frozen yet.
Maybe they don't have it in here. It's a private airport. Doesn't have it. Alright. That's okay. What I'm going to do is set the heading bug and change to heading mode in a direct eastbound.
I was trying to use a small private airport that appears on ForeFlight as my destination on the GPS. I think this was a 430, Garmin 430 GPS. Didn't have the private one, so I had to set it manually. Still no big deal at this point, though. Just flying a flight.
Yes. Won't follow that path, though.
Nice thing about Minnesota, more or less cardinal directions, mostly. I'm more or less headed east at this point, as you can tell based on the box shape of the roads. Seems so normal. I guess that's how I'll...
Oh, it is connect. Oh, that's right. Ah, I remember now. I was thinking that thing connected via Bluetooth, but it connects via Wi-Fi. So looking for a connection in the wrong place. It's actually connected and everything's fine. I was wondering how it saw traffic.
That's the Sentry.
Alright, so we're 17 miles away from St. Paul, so we'll go ahead and get this.
10, sky clear. Temperature -3, dew point -10, altimeter 3004. Visual approaches in use, landing and departing runway 14. Nose to airman, 5G nodems in effect. Runway 14 DMEN serviceable. The base is Bravo airspace over St. Paul Downtown Airport is 2,300. Positive contact, you have Juliet.
Writing that down in 4-flight.
St. Paul Downtown Airport information, Juliet 175, Zulu, wind 1608. Visibility 10, sky clear. Temperature -3, dew point -10, altimeter 3004. Visual approaches in use, landing and departing runway 14. Nose to airman, 5G nodems in effect. Runway 14 DMEN serviceable. The base is Bravo.
Okay.
Just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Okay, so...
Visual 14.
Now tower.
We're going to want to come down.
St. Paul Down, left down, runway 14, clear back.
So actually I'm going to take off altitude and drop a little bit.
Slide runway go.
I remember being confused. Like I pulled the power down, and it slowed down, but not as much as I...
Drop down to about 2,100 feet.
Yeah, not as much as I thought it would. Manifold pressure wouldn't come down. But it took a while to reason through it.
Oh, that is a tall tower right there. Yeah. At 1,300. Wow. Listen to that again.
St. Paul Downtown Airport information, Juliet 175, Zulu, wind 1608. Visibility 10, sky clear. Temperature -3, dew point -10, altimeter 3004. Visual approaches in use, landing and departing runway 14. Nose to airman, 5G nodems in effect. Runway 14 DMEN serviceable. The base is Bravo airspace over St. Paul Downtown Airport is 2,300. Positive contact, you have Juliet.
Yeah, that is so low.
I don't know.
St. Paul Downtown Airport information, Juliet 175, Zulu, wind 1608. Visibility 10, sky clear. Temperature -3, dew point -10, altimeter 3004.
I don't know why I listened to that again. I think I was getting nervous. It wasn't acting the way it should.
Alright, now we will head direct.
Here's that northbound turn to align with that lake before heading along the Mississippi to head up to St. Paul downtown. Or it was the plan, at least.
Alright, so we're going to follow this body of water right here, and I'm actually going to slow down quite a lot. Throttle forward.
That's when it really occurred to me.
Bring the power back.
Right there. I remember that moment.
St. Paul Tower, Columbia 857, Alpha Zulu, left downwind 14.
Left downwind.
I'm getting behind the airplane now. because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
57 Alpha Zulu, left downwind 14.
Rate 57 Alpha Zulu, St. Paul Tower, continue on left downwind for runway 14.
Radio call. Too much.
Downwind 14, 7 Alpha Zulu.
Too much to think about while something's wrong with the plane. I didn't know what. And I'm getting closer. I remember that pressure being there. I've only got a small number of minutes left before I'll be on top of that airspace. And the 15-mile perimeter was rapidly approaching, which is where I normally make radio calls. I'm still diagnosing right now. Like, why does this not work? You know what? I'm actually fiddling with it. I'm like, it doesn't seem to do anything right here. Why is that? Which in hindsight, that's not a good idea, because I could have just knocked the whole, whatever was holding it in place, wherever it was, I could have knocked free. And then I wouldn't have had any throttle at all. That's a decision, that's something I figured out later.
Frick?
There it is. Like, something's not right, and I don't understand what.
Oh, shit.
What?
We have a problem.
What's that?
Let me get out somewhere else before we deal with this.
Good first instinct.
Because right now we're heading into
visual.
some protected airspace.
Yeah, I'm getting real close now. It's within 10 miles, I think. Way closer.
Driver may go, right, somebody will contact ground. Okay, we'll close ground, I'll be
Yeah,
out.
I think we're going to be canceling.
441 Charlie Tango, St. Paul Tower, runway 14, clear to land.
What? I think we're going to be canceling lunch.
November 7 Alpha Zulu, are you able to keep in close? Traffic is a twin Cessna about 4 northwest of the field.
I can follow him in, we're a little faster right now, 7 Alpha Zulu.
Continue on the downwind, I'll let you know when he gets close.
So now I'm diagnosing.
Downwind 7 Alpha Zulu.
I am unable to bring the power out.
Unable to what?
Bring power out. The throttle is stuck open. I have a little bit of control on the top, but I can't get below. Like, all of this space is the same,
Still wiggling it.
so I can't turn the thing off.
Shouldn't have been wiggling it.
So we're gonna go back to Flying Cloud. And it's a fixable problem, but not one I'm gonna do in an airport that I'm not familiar with.
Not fixable by me. Fixable by AMP.
And over 7 Alpha Zulu, traffic's going up ahead into your left about a mile, 2,600.
Looking for traffic, traffic inside for 7 Alpha Zulu.
Alpha Zulu, follow that traffic number 2, runway 14, clear to land.
Traffic in, clear to land, 14, 7 Alpha Zulu.
So the intuition to turn away from the airspace was a good one. And I also turned toward relatively light traffic, because I could see that on the ADS-BN. So I was trying to buy myself time, which is actually something that was mentioned by my DPE during my private. It's like, anytime you have a problem, just turn away. I don't think that's technically teaching. Like an offhand comment.
Tower, Jet 162 is with you for 14. Okay, well, Tower 441 straight, Jane, I'll be parking in place there.
At this point, I'm trying to get south of the Bravo again.
Jet 162, St. Paul Tower, number 3, runway 14, clear to land.
Clear to land 14, Jet 162.
So I figured out I have time. Time is not a problem. I need a plan. I hadn't come to terms with it, though. I thought it still might be something I could fix. Actually, no, come to think of it, I think that's what that comment was earlier. I think I was thinking, oh, maybe if I fiddle with this enough, I'll get the throttle back. I think that is what I was thinking.
St. Paul Tower, 1649 Mike is ready to depart at runway 14. Number 1 Charlie Tango, right turn altitude, contact ground.
Altitude over ground, 1 Charlie Tango.
Number 1619 Mike, St. Paul Tower, hold short runway 14, landing traffic. Holding short runway 14 for landing traffic.
I don't know why I'm still listening to St. Paul Tower. I've already changed plans here. I think it's because I'm still diagnosing. I'm trying to get that throttle back.
Alright, well this is very bad. Solvable problem, but really is going to ruin our day.
Jet 162, cancel landing clearance, traffic will be assessed, not holding in position, runway 14.
Could have been road a lot worse.
Alright, continuing for Jet 162.
1649 Mike, St. Paul Tower, runway 14, line up and wait traffic, a Global Express on a 5-mile bound. Line up and wait, runway 1449 Mike.
No charge, strong box 10 with your visual 14. We'll run 70 on the speed till we're 6 out.
Columbia 7 Alpha Zulu, right turn, when able contact ground.
Still got radio on. Just not thinking about it.
Strong box 10, St. Paul Tower, runway 14, continue.
We're continuing for 14, strong box 10.
I don't think I'd accepted it yet. I don't think I'd...
St. Paul Tower, guard copter 20630 on the west staging area with Kilo. Ready for departure via part of the east.
1649 Mike, St. Paul Tower, eastbound departure 2, runway 14, clear for takeoff. 49 Mike.
You know, I accepted there was a maintenance problem that had to be fixed and that I couldn't fix it.
Guard copter 20630, St. Paul Tower, west stage, departure will be at your own risk. Eastbound departure is approved, traffic is set.
Go ahead and
I just
here while we
right
can.
now, eastbound is approved behind that.
Traffic is safe, departure at own risk. Eastbound approved, guard 20630.
Guard Cup 630, additional traffic, a Global Express 2 miles on runway 14.
Guard 630, how's the traffic site?
So up to that point, I was more or less watching the speed bounce around based on wind, and I noticed that it just dipped below 129 enough.
Tower.
I could have gone to climb if I had to, though. I was also under the Bravo shelf, so I was nervous about doing that, too. A lot going on.
Jet 68, Victor, stay parking. Jet 68, Victor, Roger, right turn on. Golf, hold short, runway 2, right, on the frequency.
Right and golf, hold short, clear right to 3.
Other fun detail is when I put the gears down, only 2 lights came on. It was a loose bulb, I had to pop it back in. You can tell I'm on autopilot, though, because my altitude is staying so steady.
Porter Delta, right Alpha 2, contact ground.
So that's good.
At Alpha 2, contact ground, Fort Delta.
Reducing workload.
Jet 68, Victor, cross runway 28, right on Golf Alpha 2, permitting this frequency.
Golf Alpha to Premier, cross 28, right this frequency, 68 Victor.
Still listening to St. Paul.
Delta 68 Kilo, runway 28, right, clear takeoff, right turn approved.
Roger, 68 Kilo, clear takeoff, 28 right, right turn.
None of this is relevant.
Delta 93 Echo, runway 28, right, clear to land.
Should
28
have
right, clear to land, 93 Echo.
switched over to Flying Cloud to see what was going on there.
Flying Cloud Tower, Cessna 959 Golf Tango is 10 miles to the northwest with information whiskey inbound for landing.
There's where the switch happened.
959 Golf Steel, Flying Cloud, correction, 959 Golf Tango, Flying Cloud, Tower, right, traffic, runway 28 right.
Right traffic for runway 28 right, 959 Golf Tango.
That's a little late, but still, still a good idea.
84 Papa Alpha, Flying Cloud, Tower, runway 28 right, so take us straight out, approved, traffic on the upwind to be northwest.
I remember noticing they're using 28 right. Ooh, that sigh. I remember what that felt like. I was nervous about talking to ATC. This is, you know, declaring an emergency is not something you practice in your training.
Alright, go take off. We'll start your descent, Saturday down traffic at 2 o'clock and 4 miles north on type unknown, altitude 3,500.
Look for traffic down to 2,000, Golf
I
Tango.
wanted to do it right.
The good news is it's not stuck full open, it's stuck kind of in the middle.
Technical term.
I have a little bit of control through other settings.
was trying to see if I could partially mixture down enough, and then decided that was not working.
Looks like they're descending as well. They're at 3,100 now at about 2 o'clock and 3 miles.
Inside, Takeoff.
I think I might have tried the prop lever.
This will just be a little bit fast of a landing.
I think I tried the prop lever, even though it wouldn't have done anything.
This is what's happening.
But I was trying to exhaust all my options. That line, I guess this is really happening. That was when I really came to terms with it. You can hear it. It's like a mental...
All right, gears confirmed down. We're on tower.
Mm-hmm. Man. I just didn't want it to be real. That's what it was. And everything's happening in slow motion. The other piece, tower doesn't know yet.
60 kilo, turn left 20 degrees for traffic inbound from the west-northwest.
60 kilo, left 20 degrees.
Until I tell someone it's not real. That's how I was feeling. I mean, I didn't think that, but that's how it felt.
God, this is obnoxious.
Right there. Mm-hmm. You know, after the fact on this, I learned that everybody in the flight school came outside to watch me land. So, there was that. I'm glad I didn't think of it at this point, though.
All right.
More coming.
I guess we're doing this. Flying Cloud Tower, Aero 8116 Quebec is 12 miles southeast. I am declaring an emergency. I have lost most of my throttle authority, and I'm going to need some assistance getting down.
Not very decisive.
Quebec, Flying Cloud Tower, Roger. Both 2 left and 2 right are available. Which would you prefer?
Longest runway will be best.
6816 kilo, Roger. Expect 28 left and 28 left. Be clear to land.
28 left, clear to land. 8116 Quebec.
Transect to ground.
It's funny there, too. I momentarily wasn't positive. I knew. I've flown out of this airport so many times. I knew 28 left is
Flying Cloud,
longer.
Flying Cloud Tower, Archer 478 Alpha, holding short 28 right, ready for takeoff.
478 Alpha, Flying Cloud Tower, runway 28 right, make right traffic clear for takeoff, crosswind as soon as able.
2 right, clear for takeoff, right traffic, and 1 make right crosswind as soon as able, 78 Alpha.
68 kilo, truck passes off your right, no factor, on course proof.
Roger that, 68 kilo.
I didn't want to risk being wrong about which runway was longer. Might as well offload it to ATC. They know. I didn't even want to look down. I had an iPad right in front of me, too. Just didn't want to deal with it.
Takeoff Tower, Cessna 7900 Zulu is 10 miles to the southeast with information X-ray inbound to landing.
Cessna 7900 Zulu, Flying Cloud Tower, remain about 7 southeast of the field. I'll call you back to inbound.
We're going to get as slow as we can get. Right there.
So I had to slow down a little bit. I was over flap extend speed, so I had to angle up just a little bit to drop below it, pull flaps. Get as slow as I could get. But knowing I was going to be on a descent, so I was going to pick up speed.
Alright, 90 is not terrible.
It's true.
Kind of inch it down to come in for a landing, and then cut the mixture. It's my only option here. Which will kill the engine.
Just nudging it.
And we'll glide it all the way down.
There you go, so your traffic follows 30 crossing at Archer at 1,600.
Look at that, I'll take it.
Never done a power off landing in this plane. That was the autopilot coming off. Hand flying the airplane now. Wanted to have the feel of it before having to land, rather than, you know, take it as slow as we could get.
There you go, so your traffic's down 12 to 1 o'clock in 2 miles, turning downwind at 1,800.
Stop inside, 959, go take it.
I don't think Roger. Follow traffic number 2, runway 2 right for the land.
Number 2, 28 right, clear to land.
So many sounds.
28 right, ready to take off.
Air 5 Flying Cloud Tower, runway 28 right, clear for takeoff, right turn proof.
Right turn proof, 28 right, clear for takeoff, 505.
Sounds of resignation.
78 Alpha, runway 28 right, Clear for the option.
3 right, clear for the option, 78 Alpha.
I'm more or less on a straight in right here. A little bit dogleg, slightly. I'm getting real low real early. I just did not want to need to do a big descent right at the end there. So, very low approach. Being very careful about towers right now, too. On the lookout, both on the VFR chart that I'm looking at, on the iPad.
So we're going to try to do this as shallow as possible.
Yeah.
So we don't gain speed.
I was already thinking about it, and they're saying it out loud.
Normal landing speed is 70, so it looks like I'm going to be able to manage like 80. And we have a super long runway. So this should be very straightforward, if obnoxious.
It's been a while since I've been a flying cloud now. I think it's 5,000 feet. It's either 4 or 5,000. It was a long runway, though, for Aero. Really long for a Cessna. Still pretty long for the Aero.
Wind check.
Wind 200 at 7.
Okay. So wind will be from the left.
Crosswind.
So I'll need to dip left and right cross, right connect.
Not using the right words.
All right.
My dad doesn't know any of the words I'm using here. This is purely for my own nerves. But whatever it takes, you know. Just like offloading, I could have checked the
So most likely,
iPad.
actually what will probably happen is we're gonna, with no power, we can't get off the runway. So we'll just sit in the plane until they can tow us out. And I'll try to taxi off the runway.
I did.
But that may or may not be possible.
Takeoff angle, stable, start your crosswind, or cross your base, please.
Yes, that's Takeoff, Takeoff.
Now about 5 minutes out from touchdown.
Aero 160, back with the throttle issue. Are you able to lower the throttle or increase it at all?
I've got from full throttle down to about half, but can't get any lower than that.
Roger that. Once you touch down, if you just want to shut the engine off, we can get somebody else to taxi you back.
A firm, probably gonna have to pull the mixture and do a power off here. So we will definitely need that.
Yeah, just once you touch it down, then just pull the mixture, and we'll get somebody else to taxi you back.
Roger that.
They're just people in the tower trying to help. And there went the video. So now at this point, I'm about a little over 3 minutes away from touchdown. Everything that I've described is what happened. We'll go ahead and keep listening to the audio, but
Vector 78 Alpha, I'll call your crosswind.
We'll go crosswind 78 Alpha.
more or less,
Manager Zulu, if you're still on, you can fly northbound, intercept a 5 mile final for runway 28 right.
Fly northbound, intercept a 3 mile final for, you said 28 right, Manager Zulu?
cut,
Manager Zulu, front of 28 right.
more or less cut the mixture at the threshold.
28 right, 9 Zulu.
It was down like 85-ish.
Left. We're already at full flaps.
All the final checks. Got to do your gumps, even in an emergency. Yeah, beginning final descent. At this point, I was about 5.
Flying Cloud Towers, that's an Alpha Cloud Tango, taking Alpha 2.
Mega Tango, Roger, record off 2, contact ground, good day.
About 500 feet.
Return up 2, contact ground, thank you.
500 feet AGL.
Get as slow
Wind
as
is 220 at 7.
still from the left.
We're runway 28, so 60-degree crosswind at 7 knots. Not insignificant, but not bad.
Okay, I've got a good speed going here.
For the 5th time up in the
Fast,
plane.
but not awful.
There's descent. You're probably going to hear the mixture cut off while still floating. There's warnings.
78 Alpha, right crosswind, approved.
Right crosswind, approved 78 Alpha.
set.
Back to pull.
Crosswind corrections. And
Slipping it. Slipped it to the right.
so fast. Okay, mixture gone.
Oh, that sound too. It's silent.
Perfect landing.
Full stall.
Do you get a discount for this?
Great question, huh?
There was no discount.
Well, there's our first emergency.
There you go. We survived.
First. So there you go. Pretty much all that happened after that point was, I managed to roll it up to a taxiway and pulled it off. Then made a call to tower because the electrical's still on. I left everything running because in case I needed the radio, I guess. And then I told tower we're safely down, and they said, "Great, you can cut your master, and we'll get a tug out." And then it probably took like 10-15 minutes for them to get a tug over and brought us back. That was it. And the major fallout of this was, one, I never actually found out from the flight school, despite a couple of emails, like any information on what that was. Never told me. So I still don't know exactly what was going on. It was back in service the next morning. I assume it was like a cable or a bungee or something. I don't know. Never talked to anybody about it. But that triggered me to start looking around for something that is not a flight school, as I'd gotten a lot of advice that flight schools tend to have these maintenance issues a little more than private clubs do. Can't afford my own plane. Wasn't going to do that, but I could get a membership in a flight club, which I did. So I joined a flight club probably 2 months after this. I did go up in the Cessnas again, because basically what I heard from everybody is the Cessna fleet is great, but that arrow is a little finicky. So I did go up on a couple night flights in the Cessnas, worked just like they had the other 150 landings that I'd done in Cessnas. Everything looked great in those. But after I did those 2 final night flights, that was it. And I haven't been back. So next up is going to be probably those night flights, share those on the channel, and then switch over to the new club, which has been a lot of really cool new adventures. Trying this club is all PA-28s, so this didn't scare me off Pipers. But now I got access to a wider range of Pipers, a Warrior, a Archer, and a couple Dakotas. So expect some of that as I continue my aviation journey. It also means for the Dakotas, I'm going to be doing high performance endorsement, high performance training, and then probably going to be heading toward an instrument rating. So lots coming up. That's it for now. Again, this has been another Minnesota Air mission. Thanks for joining, and remember to say, yes, ma'am.